Are we okay? We got to fucking... we've got to do the fucking shit that we need for fucking drug abuse. No! No! Are you listening?
Sean from Middle Grounded. Today we're going to be talking about toxicity and what it actually is. Because I think people, when they call other people toxic, they don't understand. The ultimate goal of someone who is toxic is to undermine you, to sweep your legs out from underneath you, to make you feel that they are the only thing keeping you from crashing down. That's a toxic relationship I'm talking about. Now, you've heard toxic people, the way they make you feel, what they bring out of you, and yes, those are toxic traits. But with someone like Lorne, his ultimate goal with these catfish women is to make them feel, and he doesn't know they're not real, so thankfully this never happened, but it's to make them feel that if he leaves, because in his head he thinks he's created that scenario where if he were to step out, they would come crashing down, their whole life would be wrecked. Because a toxic person, they make you feel paralyzed and numb sometimes. You don't even realize you've changed. You have no idea how to describe it. And with Lorne, yes, it's obvious because we laugh at him and we point and we shame him because he is an absolute puddle, bucket, lake of toxicity. So how can you spot a toxic person? Well, the main three signs are harassment, abuse, and violence. Check on harassment. You've seen what he does to these women. You've seen how he treats them. You've seen his accusations. Ramona, there's a video, it might even be on Joey TCAB's channel. It's got all of the voicemail messages, and laid over top of them are all of the text messages, 1 minute apart, 2 minutes apart, with some of the most vile things he's ever said. I think we can say harassment is there, and the abuse, we know the way he talks to these women. Had they not been just on the phone and they were there in person, we know that it would be physical abuse as well. And he is violent. Look at what he did with Roy, and he talks about pushing Pharma down. You think that's the only time they ever got physical? You are crazy. With Roy, we know it's gotten physical. We know he's been verbally abusive with Roy. When he's throwing things, rah, you're not 10. When he put Roscoe on a treadmill with his leash tied up on it because he was too lazy to take his own dog outside, that's a warning sign right there. And he checks all of those boxes without a doubt. I will never make an excuse for Mr. Penis. Never. But this type of behavior comes from experience. Yeah, you're born with these inclinations, propensity for doing these things. But I don't know what kind of upbringing Lorne had. He said he was sexually abused. I would imagine he was physically abused. And he was also the guy who, whatever his siblings told him to do, let's make little Lorne do this for us. Lorne's going to do whatever he can to please them. I don't think he was in a toxic relationship in terms of love because he's never had a relationship. It's all been imaginary. Well, she looked at me. We're getting married. We know that's Lorne. So I don't know what happened in his childhood or what happened with his family. I don't know if Mama Gwen, who he paints as a saint, because another sign of someone that's been abused as a child is they will over-defend their parent or guardian in the attempt that they'll win some kind of favor. But we know that Mama Gwen thinks he's a moron, and the way Lorne reacts to all of this is laughing when he's getting beat down. Because toxicity is about control. The biggest toxic relationship you can have is two people in a relationship fighting for control. Debbie, let me back up. One of them has to give way. One of them has to give way. There is no option. With Lorne, he's a brick wall. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, You're a tennis ball, you're going to hit that wall, you're going to bounce back either to where you were or even farther back. Because another thing that toxic people do is they make you feel like you can't speak with your voice. Like no matter how you scream, you can't get through to them. You may want to throw things because they have taken everything from you. They've taken who you were. You're so worried about what they need and they desire that you're not yourself. You've just become them. You become them or in their image. It is a bad situation. So when someone like Debbie jumps in, Lorne gave way. But all these other catfish women, thank God they're not real. He would try to beat them down and make them submit because that's what these toxic jerkwads do. Look at Casey, abused by her father. That's a dream scenario for Lorne. I already talked about how he could use it. But Casey, theoretically, if she was real, would be abused as a child and attracted to Lorne because that's what happened. That's what she's used to. That's what she would be expecting. Imagine a scenario where you're a woman and you get sexually assaulted and you stay with the guy who's asking you how hard you fought, and he's asking, accusing you of cheating a couple nights later. He's blaming you for it. No real woman would do that. But say Winnie, what if Winnie had an abusive childhood? She would be attracted to Lorne 100%. All of the times he made Winnie cry. She was constantly seeking his approval, and she never got it. Now, yes, she was she was a terrorist, a mind terrorist to Lorne. But occasionally she would play that role, and that's when, Lorne would do I'm emphasizing that. Pay very close attention to what I'm saying. I'm gonna sever this abusive relationship. Chances are, if these women moved in with him, they develop an eating disorder, anxiety that they couldn't put their finger on, depression. All of these would sneak up on them because they're dealing with a mate who nothing is ever good enough for, and that they constantly feel like they have to please, and they sacrifice who they are. They sacrifice what they wanted, their dreams, their joy. They don't even know what love is anymore. And the relationships with others are going to suffer because those other people are normal, and they may feel ashamed to talk to anyone else, inadequate. Toxicity destroys someone if they don't get out. Another sign is if a woman does anything on their own, they feel ashamed or guilty, or they feel selfish. This is a common trait because they've been conditioned to feel that way. Look at every time one of these catfish women did anything, and Lorne would call and go, yeah, well, and he'd act like he was put out, and it became all about him, and he would rage. And this is what they do. This is what Lorne would do to a woman in person. They would be a wreck emotionally. If you find yourself, like I said, feeling numb or paralyzed, or that you just don't have the ability to truly do anything that you want to do because you feel guilty or ashamed, or you just feel like you don't have the motivation, I want you to understand it's not the end of the world. You can get help. Getting out of a relationship sucks. It is awful because you feel tied down. And they're going to do whatever they can to make you feel that if you leave the relationship, your life will be ruined. They may even change for a little bit. But again, someone who's bipolar like Lorne, they don't change. You get the you all the time. Lorne isn't going to change. Your partner is not going to change unless they want to. And most of the time, these toxic, manipulative jerkwads, they will not change if they think they're going to lose, unless they think they're going to lose the person they are controlling or they feel in control of. You have to understand that anyone who deals with Lorne, they're going to be the ones in need of psychiatric treatment. They're going to be the ones that need help. Lorne is actually the one that needs help, but a toxic person will take you and make you feel so messed up mentally that you're going to need some kind of treatment to help you get back to the person you used to be. And I'm sorry, but your friends, they're not going to be the ones to take you there. They can help you get there. And surrounding yourself with positive people, that can help too. But the damage has been done and it's catastrophic, and you're going to have to find some way to deal with it. All of these are things you must be prepared to do when you sever a relationship with someone like Mr. Penis. I will leave you with this. Love, or what you consider love, should never cost you your joy, your peace, your dreams, your hope, your friendships, your job, your stability. Nothing is worth that. Nothing is. So if you're stuck in one of these relationships, there are hotlines. If you feel that you can't leave because maybe, like Lorne, they might be violent, you need help. As cheesy as it is, find some tough guys or some strong women who can take control of a situation if you don't feel like you can do it. Have them accompany you when you go get your stuff. Because that abuser, that toxic person, good luck for them if they try to attack you while they're outnumbered. I'm talking verbally or physically. They won't. They'll cower down. But we know harassment, abuse, and violence, those are the 3 key traits. So be prepared. Put yourself in a situation where you don't have to worry about that. If you feel like there's going to be a problem, you can handle it legally, or you can just put yourself somewhere where you feel safe and that you are safe. But get out. Just because they make you feel like they are the ones holding you up and keeping you afloat doesn't mean you can't leave. You're not going to crash down. It's going to take you a little while to get back on your feet, but it's worth it. And you should be happy. You should have dreams. Anyways, I love you guys. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you in the next one.